And welcome everybody to This Is Difficult, the world-renowned podcast known far and wide. Well, that's what world-renowned means, I guess. So we are here to talk about video games and video game-related things. I am pretty excited about this week's episode because I have the review. So we're going to be talking about a new game. It's not even out yet, so that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I played it. I'm better than you all. No, I'm just kidding. But it was really awesome. We'll talk about more about that in a sec. Here we are talking about video games and things. I am one of your hosts. I'm Lord Yeshua, aka Josh. We have Paul, you're on his channel. This is Ryugami-san. And we have Zach, another letdown here in the corner or on the side. I don't know which direction.
You're always in the middle, Josh.
I know, but I'm only looking at the OBS Ninja screen, like the Zoom formats. I'm like diagonal. I don't know. But yeah, so pretty exciting. I'm going to pass the ball on to Paul as usual and get us kicking with the hot beats.
Right on. Yeah. Well,
suddenly we're a music show.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I had hot beats. Yeah. So yeah, how's your week been, guys? You guys playing video games this week?
Yeah, I played a couple.
Yeah, I played a lot more games than I normally do actually this week.
Awesome.
I was draining it. Yeah, fucking awesome.
Very cool.
I got back into streaming. Yay!
Hell yeah! Thanks to this game that we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'm very
really
excited about that.
Inspired me to stream it. Yeah.
Very
cool. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I didn't play a whole lot this week because I had some stuff going on. I went camping this weekend, so I didn't do my normal Samurai Saturdays stream. And let's see, I did Jedi Fallen Order on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I streamed like games for a very little bit. I played a little bit of Neo. But my friend was actually doing like a presentation on anime, and it was actually really, really interesting. So when the YouTube links up for that, I'll post that, or you guys can go back and check my VOD because I watched the entire thing.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really cool. So that's what I did. But yeah, then I didn't really have too much time to play anything else this week, unfortunately. So yeah, what'd you guys play?
I did have some time to play, and I didn't play because Chamali and Broody, our friend Broody Gambit, and Adam and I played the tabletop simulator mod for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like something universe game system.
Tabletop simulator? Interesting.
Yes.
Simulator.
Oh, wow.
Online
board
game.
Simulator or stimulator?
It's a motherboard game. Oh. Motherboard game.
So, anyway, it's a board
there.
game for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's great. I love it. We played a whole bunch of it this weekend when I probably otherwise would have been playing other things. But I did stream Batman Arkham Asylum.
Nice.
And we're moving our way through that. I defeated Harley Quinn and one other boss that I'm forgetting. Because the 300 times that I played that game are kind of running together in my head at this point. I'm actually kind of like, I'm surprised how much it's been. Probably 10 years since I've played it, but or whatever. But I played it a bunch when it came out, and so all my playthroughs are just kind of running together. But I'm remembering most of it. I almost could. There it is. Adventures Universal Game System. I'm being told is what AUGS stands for, and that's great. I also I played a bunch of Hades on my own and finally escaped.
Yes.
I got out.
Thoughts on the ending, without spoiling, if possible.
Well, it's not. The game doesn't end. So
thoughts on the
I was delighted, and the story obviously continues. So I'm still playing it, and I've gotten to the point now where I can pretty reliably at least get to the final boss, and then depending on my build, whether I succeed or not. So yeah, it's still super fun, and it's a great one that I can just like jump in, play a run, and then go away and do something else, like 20-minute playthrough.
Do you feel like having beaten the final boss, you're kind of just like, there's more story and all that, but like, I kind of beat it, like, or is it like feel like you're compelled to keep going?
Some things compel me to keep going, but most of it's just like I'll take the story as it comes at this point, and that's fine.
It
which
seems
like is what the developers intended.
Yeah, it seems like some people, like my brother, for instance, want to just play nothing but that game, like over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it is, but that's fine. And in preparation for both my review next week and our Scott Pilgrim stream coming up on February 13th, I've been playing Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
Oh my god.
Which
is that what I think it is?
Super funny. It's like River City Ransom with Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like the villains are awesome. The mini bosses are like you.
Is it like all
Mallrats
references, or is it like the entire universe?
The first level is all
Jay and
Mallrats,
Silent Bob,
and then after that, it's everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
The level 2,
Wow.
Paul. Level 2. I'm just going to spoil this. Level 2's final boss, like the boss fight, is Patrick Swayze on a horse from Clerks the cartoon.
Wow,
it's
amazing.
Awesome. So I'll be streaming.
So it
that
incorporates
tomorrow.
the cartoon too.
Yes, it does.
That's
really
fantastic.
And the mini boss is Mooby.
Dude,
so
the most unrelated Jesus, my brain is fried. Underrated cartoon of all time is the Clerks cartoon. If you haven't seen it, find a copy of it. It's only like a season, or maybe like
episodes.
6. Yeah, okay, 6 episodes, and it is so fucking funny.
Oh my god, it's funny. It's so good. I went back and watched all 6 episodes last night,
and it's like insanely quotable too.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah,
the deadly Mataba virus.
Right. Why are we walking like this?
So I'll be streaming that tomorrow. So we have some footage for the review next week, and then I'll be talking about it extensively next week as well.
Very cool. So we getting into the preview first, or are we gonna hit the topic first? Which would you guys prefer to do?
I think Josh is chomping at the bit to talk about this game.
I think so too. Why don't we just jump into it? You ready?
Let me jump into it. Wait, real quick. I also played lots of Hyrule Warriors this week, and it's
we didn't talk about
juicy. Real quick, I just want to say, not spoiling the story. It's getting really good. Like the story is really good. This game is more in depth than I thought, and I'm starting to get. I need to beat it now because lots of weird things are happening. I don't know if you guys can I spoil slightly for you guys?
Sure.
There's a little bit of time travel in this, and so it's kind of leaving me like, what the fuck? Like, are they gonna unwrite Breath? Completely unwrite it? So like, I don't know. I haven't beaten it yet, but like, I'm actually kind of excited, and also like, what the fuck are they gonna do? But seriously, this game is so big. And like, there's a ton of characters. It's really odd. No one feels bad to play as. It's like, anyway, I played a lot of Hyrule Warriors.
Nice. Did you play anything else?
I played Blue Fire, guys.
Hell yeah.
What's that? A game that hasn't even launched yet? What? How's that possible? So
how's that possible? Hold on. Before you jump into it, let me switch you over to the review screen for you.
All right. Gameplay.
Here we go.
Yeshua's review of an unreleased game called Blue Fire. Beep, boop, boop. So many of you may or may not have heard of this game. Honestly, I had maybe heard of this game. I'm thinking I recollect like a small trailer of it from back in the day, but now it's coming out. So it's coming out on the 4th, and we were lucky enough. Shout out to Chamali, and then also shout out to whichever developer gave us this. But Chamali was able to actually get a developer code for the demo for this game. Granted that we pretty much do what I'm doing right now, right? Review the game and stream it, which I did. And I did that last night, and it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, I get ahead of myself in the reviews very easily. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, this is Blue Fire, the game. It's really hard for me to describe what type of genre this is, but I'm going to go ahead and say platformer. The platforming is akin to A Hat in Time meets Dark Souls. So like, it feels like you have like Dark Souls platforming level skill with A Hat in Time mechanics. And so like, it is pretty much what I've always wanted. It's basically like an M-rated sequel. It's not even M-rated, but like, you know what I mean? A dark sequel to like A Hat in Time for me. It's not quite as fluid, we'll get into that in a sec, as A Hat in Time is, but I also only played the first 2 levels, and mechanics are like unlocking galore. It feels a little Zelda-y too, in how like there's dungeons, beautiful music that like slowly creeps through the level. And there's Z targeting, and you're a swordy guy. And so there's like lock on, you can like dash to people. There's Z targeting. And it feels like Wind Waker in combat. So just to kind of like give everyone a heads up of what this is. But yes, Blue Fire, developed by Roby Studios. Thank you again, devs, for this thing. And I'll totally take a free version of the game and stream the whole thing live. What? But anyway,
we weren't gonna do that.
I had to. This game comes
Okay,
out on
Jesus.
February 4th, 2021. It's coming out first on the Switch and the PC, and then later on some bullshit consoles we never heard of. I'm just kidding, on the Xbox and the PS4. I am probably going to get this on the PC, although it seems like the perfect game for the Switch. This seems like a
It does
really
seem like an
amazing
awesome
game.
Switch game.
Like, I can't believe this
Mhm.
wasn't an exclusive for the Switch, but I'm also very grateful that everyone's gonna be able to play this.
Mhm.
I played it on PC with the demo. So, what did I like about the game? Honestly, it's easier to say what I didn't like about the game. This is a lot. Yeah. So the game just feels very stark. Like you walk into it and you get that Dark Souls vibe. You're like, okay, this feels intimidating. Like I walk in, an enemy like kills you in like 1 or 2 hits, and you're like, what the fuck? I thought this was going to be like Kitty, like Zelda, based on the aesthetic, but no, it's dark. And then you look around, there's like oozing like corruption and like dark temple settings, just like Dark Souls. So you're just like, this is very deep. I kind of get what they're trying to do. It's not just run into combat and kill people. It is meticulous, and the platforming benefits, or the combat greatly benefits from the platforming style and the controls, because you're able to like dash out of the way, do some crazy jumps, like all these kind of mechanics that again I haven't unlocked all of. So for the time being, it just feels like it all is running very smoothly together, which is really, really nice. Music is here. I keep forgetting to do this correctly. Sorry. What did I like about the game? So much. What is the gameplay? How was the gameplay? Was it fun? It's amazing. If you're a platforming fan at all, if you like the Hat in Time, Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario 64, any of the 3D Super Marios, really, it is pretty much a must for you. I feel like this really pushes the boundary where Super Mario Sunshine, we saw kind of an inkling of these very intense platforming puzzles that were kind of just like, okay, this is pretty hard, but like it's still Mario. This kind of takes it up a notch even further, and it gives you these mind-bending kind of tower puzzles. And I, again, only played the first 2 chapters, and I'm already kind of grasping that it's like demanding a lot from the player in these platforming exercises. It's not like press jump to do that. Like it teaches you how to do the mechanics, but it's not like guiding you through each puzzle or each platforming puzzle. Like it really expects a lot from the player, and that's going to be added into something I do like about it as well, is that like it is not holding your hand. Sure, it tells you what to do, but I think it's fair to tell you what to do as you unlock mechanics, because it's like,
Yeah, of
this
course.
game is very hard. Yeah, some games, like I thought, like, would it be better if there was no tutorial? I think it's better that there's a mild tutorial, and it literally happens like while you're walking. There's literally like scars on the floor, just like in Dark Souls. And there's so many things akin to Zelda. I can't even explain. It like really feels like Wind Waker in a lot of ways. The art is gorgeous. At first glance, I was like, Wind Waker meets Hollow Knight. Like it really feels like Hollow Knight in a lot of ways, as far as the aesthetic and even the music. I know, dude.
That's
Literally,
so cool.
I was like, this is like Hollow Knight. And it's just really deep. You even feel like Link meets like Hollow Knight guy type character. Like you feel like
Yeah, it kind of looks like it aesthetically. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You're like a swordsman, unknown origin. Like, I get to the end of the demo, and like a character talks to you, and he's like, "You are like your soul is of like." I can't remember the exact word. He's like, your soul is like a perfect balance of light and dark. You're the only one that can save us, type thing. And I'm like, interesting. So you're like a kind of one of those Link type characters where like you're the only one suitable, both because you're like kind of fucked up and kind of awesome. So it's like the perfect hero, the anti-hero, right?
Yeah.
And this, I could see this easily being one of those games where like you beat it and it's like you're the bad guy, or like something like that, just because it's like I don't even know what's happening. It takes place in, I think, a post-apocalyptic world. There's one scene where you walk out and see like this amazing Twilight Princess-esque sunset, and this guy's there, and he's like, "Can you believe that they used to think humans lived out there?" or something like that. And it's like people are extinct, basically, is kind of what I got from that. Or like the theory that other humans or beings exist is kind of like gone. So like dystopian type thing. It's just very stark, very beautiful, and like I already am getting like chills like thinking about the potential for the lore in this. Yeah, so art is beautiful, great depth of feel as well. The platforming exercises really feel fucking terrifying. You're not just like, oh, you know, I fall off, whatever. It like feels like very imposing. Like these massive tower structures and like fast moving blocks and all that shit, like feels imposing. Like right in the first like mini game level, which is like kind of akin to like the dream levels from A Hat in Time, or like the ones where Mario gets Flood taken from him in Sunshine, and you're just left to like bare bones platforming. It feels very much like that. Puts you like in a dream realm for like a little bit. Love that. Music is gorgeous. You kind of don't notice it at certain points because you're kind of like intent on like searching and all that. But then when you do notice, you're like, wow, it just really crept up. It felt like it was there all along. Like it feels very beautiful and stark. And it's like the kind of songs that go for like 20 minutes and you're just like, this is great. I'm not getting bored of that.
So
Um,
I mean, that's important though. Like for
oh
sound
yeah.
design, you don't at this point in time, you don't want a game song really to get stuck in your head.
Yeah, not
Right.
anymore. Yeah. I'm fine with humming along to Banjo Kazooie now, but like if a
Right.
game like that came along where like 1.5 minute tracks or less are repeating in a very loud, rambunctious way, it kind of is a turnoff. Like
Yeah.
we're just like, okay, that's a lot of music, but like that solemn, like kind of creep in, like very Dark Soulsy, where it's like you barely
Especially in a
notice
game
it.
like this, you want that like good ambiance, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, you want the ambiance? Yeah, exactly. It really sets the mood because because
You
again,
want Beyonce.
what? And so that's not what I
Beyonce
said.
has game music. It seems
Oh
terrible.
my god. Shakira in the background. Maybe. Oh my god. What am I saying right now? No, but it's game could easily be like when I first started, easily be misconstrued as a kiddie type game, and the music and the aesthetic kind of ties it all in and gives you that feel as you explore. Like right when I started it, I didn't know how serious this game was going to be. And then when I kept going along, got my ass kicked a few times. The music gets more intense, and it like really shows you this imposing like thing this quest you got to do. So it feels like it really ties it together is what I'm trying to say, and gives it that feel. Also, something about the gameplay, real quick, the bad guy incremental like strengthening, getting more difficult, I guess, ranking. I don't even
Power
fucking know.
creep,
Great.
kinda.
Yeah, the power creep of the bad guys is fucking good. Like really, really amazing. Like the level 1 bad guys kick your ass to the point where you're like blinking Breath of the Wild and you're like, I don't even want to touch them. Then you get a new weapon and you learn how to fight them. And you're like, now I actually know how to fight each bad guy. And they each have a different mode or like way of attacking you. And you like almost like love it at that point. I started like really loving once I learned how to like beat up these certain bad guys. And like you can do like a vertical chop to like bounce off them and shit and like do like all kinds of dodges and jumps. And it's really cool. Like, so bad guys are great. There is a boss battle at the end of the demo. If anyone gets their head on the demo, please play it all the way through because the boss fucking tied it in for me as well. Incredible. I'm so glad big bosses are a thing because like the little bosses felt like bosses. Like every bad guy felt like a boss in this, and then to give us a giant bad guy at the end was very much what I needed. Like true like Zelda temple status. Let's see. Yeah, sound
Also,
design
still kind
again.
of Dark Soulsy too.
Yeah.
I watched the end of it. Like the health bar at the bottom is very Dark
Yes.
Souls,
And you feel like, oh my God, this guy has that much health. Like I am dead. There's no way I'm killing this guy. And then you figure out the way and you're like, okay, this isn't so bad, but it's still like, you got to be on point. The game again expects you to learn the mechanics. It doesn't care if you die 1,000 times as long as you learn. So like, it's very Cupheady in a way where you're like, it's not going to beat it for you. You literally have to learn the play style or else you will not succeed in this game, which is, in my opinion, a huge strength. I think more games need that. Like not too many games hold your hand and like Breath of the Wild where they give you like amazing weapons and like right out of the gate, other games too, though. Like right out of the gate, you're already strong enough to pretty much take on whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
that's exactly why I have my learning and growing animation that I use on my stream all the time. Those are the kinds of games that I want to be playing. Ones that force you to learn and become better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It really makes you feel like a great gamer when you like do it. And like I beat the demo and I was like, damn, that was intense. There was one mini game, I don't know if anyone was watching, but it took me like 30 tries or this one like mini level, just like timing and the jumping and all that stuff.
The platforming
and, like,
at the beginning.
Platforming. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I can't do this, whatever. And then like when I finally beat it, I was like, wow, that was intense. True satisfaction from beating it. And like you really feel like you learned from that. And then like by the end of it, you're like dashing around, dodging, doing perfect attacks and everything. You're like, I didn't even know this an hour ago, but now I'm like really good at it, or to an extent. Let's see. So sound design, just to add on to the music, the sound also is aesthetically gorgeous. It really ties everything in. The weapons and all the enemy sounds are not annoying. They again fit perfectly into the setting. Real quick, if any of the devs are listening, I found a typo in the text. So there was like an S missing at the end of no. It was supposed to be knows, but it was no. Like he knows something. So not to insult, but there is a typo in the game.
I think
so
there's a feedback, a demo feedback section in the Discord. I would highly recommend joining the Discord.
I'm going to join that Discord, and I recommend everyone else do too. And then see, we have a cross out of how long it takes. I will say the demo was over 2 hours long, although I was streaming, kind of fucking around. The demo alone,
stream, I think, was about
like 210.
220 was the full stream.
And 10 of that is like me dicking around at the beginning. So it's around 2 hours, probably 1 to 2 hours if you like figure it out what to do pretty fast. And I died a lot. Slowly.
That's another thing that I noticed in the Discord. I feel like this game was designed with speedrunning in mind.
Yes.
Because they do have like a designated speedrunning channel for the demo. So I believe that the intention is for you. I mean, obviously you can play the game how you want, but I think that part of the design philosophy for the game was to include speed running, you know, and have
Yeah.
speedrunners in mind for it, which I think is really
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the dash mechanic, there's no stamina in this game except when you're wall running, and it's pretty generous, I would say. And I'm assuming everything is upgradable because there's a massive inventory. So you probably can eventually just run on the wall forever. But regardless, you can just like dash, 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 dash. And like if you learn the level and you learn how to avoid bad guys, and there's no like real gain from killing bad guys, except you refill like your basically it's like the elixir from Dark Souls, where you like get a maximum amount of them and like you refill that potential. And I don't really know. I don't know. I got some weird like firefly things, and I wasn't able to spend them. So maybe I'm saying too much, but there's like almost no gain to killing bad guys. It seems maybe minor, but so speed running is like I think you could do it without like hindering yourself too much. And it seems again like learn the levels, just crush it. It seems like if I beat this and it's amazing, I'm probably going to want to speed run it because I'm already kind of into it. Yeah. Was the game difficult? Fuck yes, it was difficult. This game is not a hat in time. It is not Sunshine, and Sunshine is a difficult game. I will say, considering I only played level 1 and level 2, this game has a massive learning curve. It really, again, demands a lot from the player, and it doesn't hold your hand. And not only that, but the mechanics are kind of difficult. Like, for instance, your dash, you can't pull your dash in. Like in a hat in time, you can lunge forward, and then kind of cut it off and like stop your jump in the middle, and you have much more like accuracy. Here, although it'd be nice to be more accurate and be able to jump wherever you want, that's not the point of the game. And I understand that the game wants you to use the mechanics it has to do difficult puzzles. And it's not like, of course we could make it easier, but like, why would we do that? So I also respect that some of it feels kind of strange at first, but then when you learn how to like do untethered platforming, you get more accurate at it. And it like, again, you can just become a pro at it. So it's not an easy game. I would say this is like a Souls-like. And honestly, I like can't believe they didn't even make it.
With insane platforming.
Yeah, with insane platforming. Props to Roby Studios for basically, literally, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I said I wanted a Dark Souls platformer. Remember?
You did actually.
I did say that. I think I said 2D platformer, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get too much closer, right?
Can't get too much closer. Instead of saying, will I play a sequel? I'll say, will I play the full game? Of course. I absolutely recommend playing this game if you're a platformer fan at all. If you even liked Banjo-Kazooie slightly, you're going to love this. I'm not saying it's better than Banjo-Kazooie.
It seems so different from Banjo-Kazooie. Like,
I know,
weird to make that comparison.
Well, because it's like a tried and true platformer, and it's like that's kind of where I'm getting at. It really, the closest comparison, absolutely, is a Hat in Time, because like this amazing untethered platforming, these incredible acrobatics, and like pinpoint landing and perfect whatevering, and like speed running and all that stuff. But it feels like this is just to the nth degree. Overall rating and impression. Overall impression is this game is fucking phenomenal. Please play it. It's so awesome. Props to Roby Studios, and thanks again for letting me play it. Overall rating, again, I don't know if I can fully grasp it. It was a little learning curvy at the beginning, but I'm not holding that at all against the game.
Yeah, hard to give it like a number rating when you haven't played the full.
It is hard, but I'm gonna. So
here we go.
Also hard.
I would say this is a 9.2, honestly. So the reason it's not higher is probably because I haven't seen all of it. But the story seems really good. The lore is dark, and it doesn't give too much to where you're like, oh, the story's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. It's like just giving you a little like Hollow Knight where you're like, I like what it's giving me because it's not shoving it down my throat. Right. Aesthetics are good. Music is good. Gameplay is good. It's hard enough. It's very hard, and I respect that out of games these days. It's an amazing game, and maybe it'll be a 10 when I beat it. But for right now, that's strong.
It's a very strong start.
Very strong. And yes, I would buy the game based on the demo. I don't know what the price tag is going to be, but honestly, I would be a little upset if it was over $40. I can see this being a $40 or $30 game because I don't know how big it is. It feels pretty big. I could also see this being a $20 game. I could also sadly see this being a $60 game because it is coming to Xbox and PS4. And I would be really sad if it was a $60 game, but I think I would still buy it. And then, yes, go watch my previous streams of the Blue Fire demo if you want a preview. Thanks, Jamali. If you want to watch a preview. But
I'm gonna try and get that posted to our YouTube too.
Yeah. I don't know how easy it is to even get this demo though. That's the thing. Like, am I like the first person to ever stream it?
No, I don't think so.
It had a category, so I don't think so.
You can.
Oh, it had a category.
If you're interested in trying it out, go to the Discord and you can request the preview through their Discord.
Oh, very
They'll,
cool.
they'll direct you on how to get that. Also, like you mentioned lore, they do have a lore channel in that Discord as well. So I'm
that's
thinking they want to put a heavy emphasis on lore as well in this game, which
Good.
sounds really rad, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Not only were there like some very mysterious characters that gave you like there's one character that gives you like a nice like literally reminded me of when the Deku tree is telling you the story of the goddesses because
Yep.
it's like the story about the gods that created the plane and whatnot.
Right.
And one of them is literally like Daneru, and I'm like, that's like literally Din and Nehru mixed together or some shit. But anyway, so like it gives you a little bit without like spoiling anything, and then also it has characters that are very mysterious, and like you just see things. You're like, where am I? What is this place? Like you see that sunset that's bleak, and the guy's like, no more humans or whatever, and you're just like, fuck, like I'm getting good enough at a time. I could see the lore being massive. I could see this being a cult classic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This game has blown me away. Yeah, absolutely. The trailer hooked me. Watch the trailer if you're unsure. Watch me die 1,000 times if you're unsure. But if you really want, playing it was a lot better than watching it. I knew I was going to like it based on the trailer, but I absolutely loved it, and it blew my expectations away as far as gameplay is concerned. Gameplay being the strongest point of this game. Like, and it's hard to say that a lot of games these days have strong gameplay throughout. And this game really is solid. It is not ever lagging or boring. Backtracking is only your error. Like if you fucked up and forgot, that's you backtracking because of you. But like, there's no really need to go back. I will say it's frustrating, but it's not misunderstandable that they send you back to the beginning of the level when you die. Like there's no checkpoints. Like you find the bonfires just like in Dark Souls. That's usually like midway or to the end of a level. If you die 10 minutes in, you go all the way back though. And so it's kind of like really training you to be careful and like learn each step of the way.
Yeah, learn that.
It's Mega Man Zero.
Yeah, Mega Man Zero, Cuphead, like all that stuff, like Geometry Dash or whatever. Like that's a weird
Geometry Dash.
So it's interesting to note. Like we got confirmation that we had a demo. What, 2 nights ago? Maybe?
Yeah, Friday night,
I think, and Paul and Chamali and I were trying to figure out who was going to, play it. And Paul and I were both like, no, it has to be Josh.
Yeah,
this is the most Josh game ever.
Yes.
And we're really happy that you were able to go live last night and record some.
Thank you. When I got the text, I was like, I don't know. And then I watched the trailer immediately when I got home, and I was like, I need to stream this now. It like really inspired me to go stream it. Yeah. And I was like, and the devs are giving us the code, so it's like quite an honor to stream their game. Yeah. And yeah, I am super glad I did. It really ignited something in me. I really want to play more right now. I'm kind of sad that I can't play more, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when was the release date again? February 4th?
February 4th is
Oh my god, that's the day before
it.
the Neo 2 PC release.
Yeah, it's like that first couple of weeks of February is going to be nuts for the three of us.
Yeah. Also on the 12th,
Neo 2, Scott Pilgrim stream. Josh has got Blue Fire.
That's on the Blue Fire, but also on the 12th, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury launches.
Yes.
And that is absolutely, I'm absolutely playing that on launch day, most likely live. So there's a lot of games coming out for us. February's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the game before I turn off the gameplay here?
I would say give it a chance, because if you're not inherently into platforming, I think you still would be into this game. Like if someone's like, oh, platforming isn't my main jam, be like, well, it's kind of a puzzle game that just uses you jumping in the air. It's kind of hard to explain, like that's platforming, but like with an amazing amount of combat lore, like all this, it kind of hits on a lot of notes, and there's like upgrading. It seems like RPG-esque where you're like upgrading your weapons, and there's a huge inventory that didn't even scratch.
Yeah.
So
to me, overall, it almost seems like a classic 3D Zelda with insane platforming.
Yes, it literally like feels like the combat and the exploration of Zelda, like Wind Waker specifically comes to mind, especially because of the graphics, with like the getting lostness of Hollow Knight, and then the platforming of like A Hat in Time taken to the nth degree then, and like Dark Souls paint on top of it. So I love that it evokes so many other games in me also. Like these developers clearly are retro platforming fans, clearly are like Dark Souls fans and like intense they understand what it means to learn and beat a game and be proud of yourself for putting in the work for the game, instead of just being like, okay, am I through this part yet? Did I beat it yet? I'm still using a tree branch and I don't have the Hawaiian shield. I'm kidding. But You know what I'm saying? Like it really inspires a lot. And I think this is a great direction for games. And games like this do not come out very often.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And again, big, huge thank you to Roby Studios for giving us this.
Thank you, Roby
This is
Studios.
a huge opportunity.
Super grateful to be able to play your game, guys.
Absolutely. All right, let's get back to the other screen here. Awesome. Thanks for the review, Josh. That was fantastic.
That was a good one.
I'm excited about it. What is our topic this week? This week we're talking about Stream Brain.
Streamer's curse / camera brain / missing things while streaming. Oh yeah, the streamer's curse, the ice arrow curse, as Colin likes to call it.
Yeah,
the ice arrow curse.
Because I didn't get the ice arrow, and he was every time I fucked up after that, he was like, "Should have gotten the ice arrow." It's the ice arrow curse.
There you go. I dig it.
So I'm really glad that RPD's popped into the chat because this is a topic he kind of suggested to me. Because camera brain happens to me nearly constantly, even in a game that I know inside and out. I've streamed Sentinels of the Multiverse, the card game for Handelabra Games, for a long time, something like 3 years.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it's been a long time, and I make so many dumb mistakes that are both a side effect of me trying to be entertaining, but also just like I'm trying to play at a pace that's watchable.
Yeah,
and I think that's the biggest problem is there's an expectation of speed in a stream.
Yeah,
I think, and it's not. Pace, right? It's not to be confused with speed running because that's definitely not what I do. Like my streams are all story oriented.
Yeah.
I'm out there to show an entire storyline play out. So I'm not gonna I'm most of the time not gonna stop playing a game midway through. I say that I've stopped Zelda and I've stopped Hollow Knight, but Josh, I'm going to finish A Link to the Past. I've finished it a billion times. New things came out and I was like, I want to play this. And RPD points out that I do some speed running in Sentinels, but that's just because I know it inside and out. And there's certain scenarios where it's almost impossible to make a mistake. But it happens to me very frequently. In a recent play of Arkham Origins, I played the Cold Heart DLC off stream and cruised right through it. Didn't really make all that many mistakes. And then when I went to play it on stream, I died so many more times. And part of that is because I was talking and not paying full, like I'm dividing my attention between the chat moving as slow or fast as it chooses to at any given day, but also trying to play the game. And I've heard there's a clip in Paul's Be Right Back screen that's him yelling, "Wrong button!"
Right.
And that is exactly what we're talking about here.
So I think what you're trying to say is like when you sit down to play a game, it doesn't matter how many times you played it. It doesn't matter like if you're like a pro at this game, you get on stream and the mix between like you interacting with chat, you being entertaining, trying to focus on the game, sometimes like jumbles what's going on in your head. And very easily you start making mistakes that you normally wouldn't in a video game. My biggest thing is neglecting story and tutorials. Right? So like same kind of thing. Like when you get into a game, you don't want to sit there and just be like reading pages and pages worth of like tutorials or text. And so like because you want to keep that pace going. Right. And so I'll get into a game like Monster Hunter, for instance. I used to stream a decent amount of Monster Hunter, not a lot, but like I would get in there and have no fucking clue what I was doing. Thank God I had like friends that could like Sherpa me through that, because the tutorials in that game, they're very detailed, but that's part of the problem is they're like pages and pages of freaking detail that it's like, how do I parse through this and figure out what's valuable right now so that I can get on with the gameplay? And I think that's something you have to balance as a streamer that can be difficult. And then alternatively, like, it, like I said before, it could be a game you've played a million times, like Zelda Link's Awakening, right? I've
Yeah.
played that game a million times. I get in on stream and I play that and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing in
Seriously, dude.
yeah.
I get that game.
Turtle
gives
Rock?
Me
What
streamer brain. Turtle Rock is hell. I can never. I don't even know. I can't do it now. No.
I think that may be where I stopped.
Dude, that I rage quit last time at Turtle Rock. It is absolutely horrendous. You please bring magic if you haven't played the game yet.
Yeah,
bring a
please,
full load
for
out
the
of
love
magic,
of
guys.
God, bring magic.
Out there.
I've taken to having a walkthrough, like for longer games like A Link to the Past or Mega Man Battle Network. I've had a walkthrough next to me that I can sort of keep up with.
It's a good idea.
It sort of helps me focus a little bit, but you can't do that for every game.
Yeah.
Gears of War, for example, and I use this example a lot. It kind of railroads you, so it's almost the ideal streaming game. Alex and I can goof off and get up to shenanigans while we're playing Gears because there's a very clear, you go this way.
Yeah.
Very linear focus, yeah.
Right. Arkham Asylum is very like that too. But once you get into City and Night and Origins, you have an open world to contend with. So the division is, now, I mean, fortunately, they indicate where you need to go by putting a bat signal up, somewhere in the world, and you can kind of find your way around via that. But also at the same time, like if I want to go off and do any side quests, I now have to pause the game, figure out what I'm doing, mark it on the map, turn my direction around. I have to do all these, pain in the neck steps that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, RPD brought up in chat the Garden of Salvation or Garden of Saturday Vacation.
Oh God.
This is a perfect example of stream brain, right? Like there's a raid in Destiny called Garden of Salvation, and I tried like weekend after weekend to complete that.
That's not an I, Paul. That's a we.
That is a we. That is because you were with me. You were in the fire team. And yeah, we had a real hard time. And part of that is because like, trying to focus on complex mechanics while also trying to be an entertainer on screen when it's something you haven't completed yet is fucking difficult. And I ended up, beating it off stream, which was great, but and then later on being able to go back and stream it just fine and not have a problem. And so I think that kind of shapes the games that I choose in a way for what I stream. If it's a game that is going to force me to learn a lot of complicated mechanics, or like there's a lot of wandering going on and distraction, that like if I don't already know that game and know what to expect from that game, maybe that's not the best choice for me to stream until I've already beaten that game.
And honestly, that's why I stopped streaming Hollow Knight. Is there's so much wandering around and sort of bumbling your way into things. It's like, as relaxing a game as that is for a surprisingly high tension game, it's very relaxing because of the music and the art and just everything going together. I can't, like, it's just not entertaining to wander around aimlessly killing the same bad guys over and over and over again until you find something new. And I mean, I fought Hornet, the first first, I would say, supremely difficult boss.
How good is that fight?
Oh my God, it's such a good fight.
I love
it. I fought her over and over and over and over again on stream, talking my way through it, being, I guess overreactionary is something we do as streamers because that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Paul and I both yell at things a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh God, what was that?
Right.
And that's not something I do off stream, at least not very often. But as soon as I killed the stream and signed back in, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna fight Hornet once more. Kill him.
Wow.
First try. I was like, okay, this is streamer brain, camera brain kicking my
similar thing with the Messenger. I streamed the Messenger a couple years ago, and that game's fucking phenomenal. But as soon as it switches from like a straightforward, like linear action platformer to a Metroidvania, I was like, I can't stream this because I'm gonna spend hours trying to navigate where the fuck I'm going, trying to figure out how to get to this other level and unlock this or whatever. And to me, without previously knowing where to go, and that I don't think that would have made a very productive stream. Some of the sub questions here that we have are, how often does this happen? Do you have to change the difficulty of your games because of this? Um, Different games this has occurred on. We kind of mentioned a couple of those. Uh, Prefer do first runs on stream and off camera. That's kind of what we've been talking about.
Mhm.
Josh, do you have any examples like the kind
Yes.
of?
Okay. So I speed run Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I have a world record in it. Not the first place, but
Nice.
this is like the perfect example. So as entertainers, we have a want to do as good as possible at all times, even if
Mhm.
it's like we played it 1,000 times, whatever. You die, it's funny, whatever. But the
Mhm.
entertainment factor is in you being good at the game. It's kind of like a given, but like not everyone watches the best players or wants to see the best players. But it's kind of a thing where like if you're better at the game, you kind of have a bigger audience and people like respect that more and are more entertained by you being flawless, kind of. Not
Absolutely.
necessarily, like so as a speedrunner, I'll literally like speed run these, do practice runs off stream, and then live stream it so you can upload the video. And you're just like going so reckless because you're like, I need to be perfect. I'm willing to take these risks because it's for the audience. And like you fuck up all the time, and you're like, oh, like my last run of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, I got like to level 4 and like reset to the intro like 4 times on stream. I was like, nope, I keep fucking up. Like this is the newbie mistake. Like level 2 or 3, I'm losing this much time. Another really good one is like Zelda. I mean, like you're so confident in these games that you know so well, and so like fucking up is just so easy occasionally. Where you're just like, wow, I've never died in a game before, and you die right then and there. And you're like, what the fuck? I can't believe I died. It's like you put this pressure on yourself mentally that kind of seeps through. Also, to touch base on the side quest thing, like a game like Hollow Knight, and I can see Blue Fire being this type of game too, and Dark Souls to an extent, where you like really want to collect all these side things, and these side quests are like so good for you. Even like Origami King for me, I could not stream that live, or I cannot play that game on stream because I wanted to 100% it. I wanted to get everything and talk to all the characters,
Right.
and for me, it was like a simple pleasure and like. I just wanted to talk to that toad. I just wanted to go 5 minutes out of my way to talk to this toad and see his dialogue. That's all I wanted. And it's just not entertaining to wander that much. And it makes like the tedium of doing side quests that much more tedious. You're like, oh, as much as like I love these side quests and I want to do it, you have this pressure now to be entertaining, to not and like fuck up, to do things at pace, like we were saying. So it kind of just like curveballs you a little. But for me, like the biggest example is like when I'm playing a game that I'm really, really, really good at, and I will just fuck up left and right because I'm like, watch me now, look at me dive, mom, and like belly flop straight up just because you are expecting that the audience is kind of with you, and you're like, I don't know, because sometimes I don't feel that pressure actually, and then it just like still happens. You're like, I must have put subconscious pressure on myself or something.
So
so the thing that I do on stream, which may be a little different than I think other streamers, I deliberately say like I'm not very good at games. Like I would, and I'm not. I didn't grow up with games, so like I'm passable, I guess would be the word. But you know, when I was playing Arkham Origins, Adam popped into my chat and was like, "Hey, I want to see you do some of the Riddler challenges." I'm like, that's not going to be entertaining for most people. Like that's entertaining for you because you know you expect to watch me screw up and you know watch me bang my head against a wall. But that's perfectly fine for me to do off stream. I will probably 100% all 4 Arkham games off stream. I will do the plot and all the DLC plots on stream because that's what I feel confident doing. And I feel like I can reasonably complete that task. I will probably do a couple of Riddler challenges just to show how the mechanic works. But
show how horrible it is.
What?
Just to show how horrible it is.
Well, not even. Like, I mean, some of them are pretty obvious and they're just kind of sticking right out in the open. But I want to show people like, yeah, this is definitely part of the game. It's exciting, it's cool, but it's not viable for like. I only do 2-hour streams. I'm not going to sit there for 8 hours and solve one puzzle.
Right.
You know?
There are, however, games like Cuphead and Celeste are really good examples of and again, Blue Fire to an extent, games that like it almost feels like I'd either rather see a pro who's like the world record holder, or I'd rather see someone who's never played it before and get their ass kicked and learn. There's something to be said about that, like watching your streamer get better and better until they finally master it. Like Celeste is the best example. You just get your ass handed to you, and then eventually you're like,
or Souls-like games.
Yeah, exactly. Or Souls-like games, and that's different. That's not. That's like where you expect it, and you're like, okay, the audience is with me. They're rooting me on. Like they want me to get better, and we did it. Everyone's happy. Woohoo! Next fight, like phase, whatever. But it's another thing when you're like expecting yourself to be like good, or at least like expecting just normalcy, and then you're like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what's going on. The chat's distracting me. Also, exhaustion is a thing. I don't know if we even like mentioned this, but even streaming for 2 hours, Blue Fire, my first stream back, I was like, I'm kind of like really feeling like the streaming right now, like your mind
takes a lot out of you.
It takes a lot out of you. People think like, oh, you're just playing video games. Like, no, it is really like a job. Like it's not hard. Like I hate my job, like type, but it is hard as in like, it's physically taxing. It's kind of like energetically taxing. Probably the most is energetically taxing. You literally have to sit there and grind it out. So like if 5 minutes into your stream, you have a level that you need to beat 1,000 times to get through it, you better do it, because like you can't put it down and walk away. Like that's also what's so good about like like when you're fighting Hornet 1,000 times, it's like, okay, I can just go make a sandwich and come back and fight her, like whatever. But when you're streaming, you have to keep fighting her and you have to keep pressing on until you achieve it, and then you like keep going even still. And you're like, okay, they really expect you to not stop playing.
Right.
So
and I will say that when you have
exhaustion,
when you have more than one person on the show, like Alex and I do the show together, or Paul Broody and Chamali and I'll do Scott Pilgrim together, we can sort of support each other and carry each other through that.
Yeah.
And you share it. It's surprising how equally
like when we did Goof
the
Troop.
burden. What?
Yes.
Like when we did Goof Troop.
When we did Goof Troop, we cruised through most of the game because we were enjoying each other's company. We were helping each other. We were laughing with each other. It doesn't feel like, sometimes the chat can feel, even if they don't intend to be, aggressive.
Yeah. We
had one guy, Alex, actually, I was doing fine. Alex kept screwing up. That's why we're getting a cog baboon emote. People who watch my show will understand that. But Alex kept screwing up. I'm like, oh my God, dude, stop. Like, and one guy was like, dude, you're being terrible. You're being like Zach. Because normally, normally I dial out. I'm like, wow, that's really harsh to both of us. Like, and he didn't mean
That's
it that
like
way.
Josh being like 4Gs.
4Gs is hilarious. 4Gs is the best person to have in your chat because they'll say what everyone's thinking, but he means it as a joke. But it's like, it kind of makes light. But that's huge. Like people will say a thing and like, you don't know these people. These are literally people coming to watch your television show. So you're like, okay, bro. You're like, oh, dude, you really can't do it after the third try or something like that. And you're like, dude, I'm literally on live television right now, attempting something that is mentally difficult and like dexterous and all these things. And you're talking to me at the same fucking time. And I have to be like cool with it. And like the chat, although like entertaining and fun, and we love you guys, love our fans and whatnot. But it's like
you become a character in that game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like the chat becomes a character in the game that you're playing.
And that's
they can be a support character, or they could be, like a
NPC.
like a mob.
Yeah. Oh, I've had people like with Doki Doki, they're like spoiling it. They're like telling me what to do.
Oh
God,
I hate that.
I hate that shit. We banned 5 people during that stream because of spoiling. And so like the chat can be so taxing, and you like find yourself sitting there and talking to them and like working through something or like whatever. And you're like, okay, pick the game back up. Where the fuck am I? Like, what am I actually doing right now? And then your mind is brought back out of it. It's like your buddy coming over and you're shooting the shit while you're only playing a game. It's like, of course, it's going to take your mind out of it. Like,
that's another really great example that you just mentioned is like you can be in the middle of something that like you're focused on, like a puzzle, right? I've been playing some of the games I've been playing, right? I've been playing like the Onimusha games, and I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order, both of which have like not like the most complex puzzles, but
they're difficult enough to tax
some
you.
kind of like brain twisters a little bit. And you get involved in chat, because you want to be an entertainer, you want to be, interact, and then you get back into your thing, and it's like you have to start from square one because I have no idea what the fuck my last move was. Or
right.
Yeah. So often I'll like kill myself in the middle of something just to be like, I need to restart this. I don't know what's going on. I don't even remember what the mechanics are sometimes. Like I'll literally be like, how do you play again? Like
how play game?
How play game? Boop boop. Yeah.
So like I feel like there's 3 different categories that chat people fall into. It's one, the people who are, whether they intend to or not, trolling. there's the people who like 4Gs, who will jump in,
support system,
be a good support system, but also give you crap about it.
Yeah, it's fun. I like reporting.
And then there's the people like when I was streaming Call of Cthulhu, the video game, my entire chat was like, okay, these puzzles are really hard. We're going to help you figure them out.
Right.
Which was so uplifting. Like I was super motivated to stream that game.
There's a fourth category, and it's the chatters that whether they want it or not, they stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
I'm just kidding. It's just a stupid Destiny joke.
God damn it. I will say that was my experience with my Hollow Knight playthrough. People were like, spoilers, can we help you? Like, and I'd be like, honestly, as long as it doesn't spoil anything, guide me and whatnot. And there's a lot of people that just really want to see you, a new player, be good at the game, or maybe you're an experienced player and they're like, oh my God, did you know about this? I know you've beaten the game, so let's totally talk about it. Like, this is cool. And there are a lot of people that are very supportive just for the sheer fact that you are streaming and you're entertaining them. Yeah. So that's my favorite category.
Of course.
Keep that coming. Just don't spoil it.
Blink and RPD both point out that there's also the comic relief tier of stream chat, which is that's supportive also. Like making the puns and just making silly jokes and keeping us laughing is so important, and it does mitigate a lot of camera brain,
especially in like a stressful situation. You know, like if I'm playing like a Souls-like game, or some other like very difficult, challenging thing, and I'm banging my head against the wall and I'm starting to get frustrated, right? And you can always tell, when you're playing a game and you're streaming it, like we all try not to, but there's always moments where we get frustrated. Like a perfectly timed message in chat with, a little ribbing, or like, some good contextual humor just snaps you right out of that. And that's fantastic.
And it's all about politeness. I start every single one of my streams by saying, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and being as inclusive as possible. So any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. And I point to the camera and do a wacky thing. And that's, that's exactly what we need. We need people to, rib us and tease us, but be polite about it. Be very polite and respectful about it.
I will say also, just on the chat subject, like, it, as much as they hinder and help and whatever, we want you guys there. The chat helps and makes it feel like we are actually streaming, to the point where, like, there was a point in my stream last night where, of course, it dies out and whatever, and people come back, people leave. But like, there was like 20 minutes where there's no one in the chat for a second. And I was like, I'm feeling like my brain kind of like going like into like solo gaming mode, and it comes apart from the stream, and like then someone pops back in, you're like, oh yeah, let me give you some attention, like let's talk, whatever. And like it really brings you back into like, I am entertaining, because we are fucking up there, stream of consciousnessing. I can't talk tonight, like all by ourselves. We're literally just saying what comes in our head, and feeding us dialogue and stuff to say and talk about is so helpful. I cannot explain how much the chat has saved my stream.
For sure. I think that's one of the hardest things for like new streamers, or, smaller streamers.
So disheartening.
Like,
so disheartening.
And we all
literally, absolutely the hardest thing about like starting streaming, right? The first time you hit the go live button, there's not going to be anyone in your chat. There's not going to be a single fucking person. Maybe even the fourth or fifth time, or the sixth or seventh time you hit go live, there's not going to be anyone there, right? And something that you need to learn is to be able to like talk as though there are people there, and that can be very difficult to do, and it's something that you have to learn early on if you want to have any success streaming. And I'm saying this as someone who's got no success streaming.
I know, we're like we consistently have like people.
Colin would literally come into my chat my first like under a year of streaming, and he'd literally just say talk. He'd literally just be like, start talking, and I'm like, okay, what am I playing? I'm playing Zelda. Okay, let me talk about, and just like to be snapped in, because again, it is gaming, and most people, including us, are used to just playing a game casually, like playing, and we're hanging out with our dog and eating a sandwich, like entertain, and you're talking to the world, and you're like, okay, like let's do this. You guys are here to see me. I'm gonna be on for you guys. Like I have things to say constantly.
Narrate what's going on, like what you're doing, like talk back to characters like NPCs and things like that.
I'm trying to think of like
of it, and you're just like turn it off, and you're like, oh my god, I'm exhausted. I just fucked for 4 hours straight. Sorry, go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
So one of the things that that I tell people when I see them in person in real life is I'm a very introverted person. I am when you see me on stream,
Dude, me
I
too.
have to turn the dial up to 11,
Mhm.
and then I have to just like when I'm done, when we kill this show, I go into my room and just fall asleep.
Yeah.
I eat a
Because
yeah.
this is not me like that you
No,
would see
yeah.
out of the streets.
Mhm.
If you come up to me at a con and
like,
talk to me, I'll talk your ear off. But
Oh,
if you like if you expect me to come and be extroverted to you, that's not a thing. I'm not gonna do that.
comedian in a way. Like you can be the most awkward, weird guy. Not saying you are, but like you have your thing, and your spark ignites when you're on the camera, and you're just like, all right, I'm playing this game. I want this. Like I want to talk about this. This is amazing, but it really uses real time energy. Like you're actually exerting quite a bit. Like it's public speaking meets like all this shit.
Talent
Like
show, like it's
meets video editing meets like rapid marathon streaming and gaming.
Yeah.
And, some games that you would pick up and put down like Hyrule Warriors 20 minutes at a time, I would be playing that for 4 hours straight or whatever if streaming, and it'd be like a totally different animal.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely a different experience. Yeah.
Oh, for every game that pretty much applies. Unless you're like master and play it that way every time. But even sometimes I'll blow through like Ocarina of Time and I'll play it off stream very rarely now, but I'll just like casually smell the flowers and I'm like, this is what it's like. And it's like just different than just go all my energy into this right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's super different. And that's something that's nice about I think like one of my favorite games that I streamed this year or last year, I guess, was Ghost of Tsushima. And what was cool about that game was it allowed me to focus on like story driven content while I was streaming. And like it does a really good job of letting you know the flow of that and like where you need to go next and this, even though it's an open world game. It's not like you're searching around. And then off stream I can go do the silly side shit that, like finding fox dens and whatever else, because like that's stuff that I would normally do if I was playing by myself, but like on a stream you want to progress that story. So I think that's a really great game, for streamers, because you can get the best of both worlds. It is such a big difference when you're playing a game off stream than on stream. Like it's almost like you're playing a totally different game sometimes.
It's like wearing a suit versus wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
Like,
Because it's like casual versus like performance setting. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you think developers are taking that into effect these days?
I wonder.
Into account?
That's a really good question.
It kind of feels like, I don't know, actually.
Here's the thing. There are games that are designed with streaming in mind. A couple examples would be Warhammer Vermintide 2 and what's the name of that game? Dead Cells, right?
Dead Cells, yep.
Both of these games have like a streaming mode on them, so that like when you stream those games, like the chat can interact with you and with the game.
Right.
But are a lot of people doing that? I don't think necessarily.
No.
Proven by the fact that you still can't skip cutscenes in 90% of games, and you can't go through dialogue, because like if you're speedrunning, remembering, like I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to cut through a lot of shit if you're just talking over it anyway.
Well, if that's what your intention is. I mean, for me, I love riffing cutscenes.
Yeah.
Like,
I love
my Mega Man Zero playthrough was hysterical because every time there was dialogue, first of all, I'd do the voices, but second of all, I could make fun of what they were saying and I'd make fun of all the ellipses that pop up. It's like, why are you using an ellipsis on every single panel?
Oh my God. What does an ellipses do?
It's the three dots.
It's the three dots. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, there's like a beautiful medium where it's like, for example, like I love Ocarina of Time. The first time I played it live, of course, I want to say all the dialogue and I want to whatever and like casually 100% it. But there's a certain point, the 20th time, and I'm running that shit, and we're co-op shitting on it for the world record and all that stuff, me and Colin or whatever. And we just want to like take out cutscenes to the point where we got so Spicy Wolf, shout out to the mod 64 people, but they like have a mode where you can do cutscene lists now in like all their games. So we did cutscene list Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, and it just adds so much for different people. And it'd be cool if there was like a mode where you could just like literally go in and be like, turn off cutscenes, turn off dialogue. Again, this just like help streamers in various ways.
Yeah.
I don't really know how else they could like help though, aside from like taking time away, or maybe, you know, doing like an auto learn mode where it's like you start a game, maybe it's a new game plus feature, or maybe not even, maybe you just like start a new game and you're like, do you want tutorials for this game? I know a lot of Kirby games do that. It's like little games, but like they're like, you want the tutorial? Do you want to just play? Like, okay, cool. I just want to play. I know everything. So that kind of stuff is helpful for streamers.
Do you guys have anything else you guys want to say about Stream Brain? What are some like good, like positive effects of Stream Brain?
Oh, well, first of all, it does make for entertaining content.
It does.
Certainly. Yeah.
Like if you can play it off like, oh God, that's gone badly wrong. Or, you know, like I do that all the time. I got into a combat the other day and just completely beefed it up. And I was like, oh, that's gone badly wrong. And then I recovered and I was like, yes, that's how we do.
Yeah. If you were off stream, you might have just been like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, oops.
Yeah.
So
it elevates your like energy and that's again why you use so much of it, but it's like it allows you to do and say things that you normally wouldn't do if you were by yourself. And brain farts or streamer brain or not, like the camera on you does have a power and it does like allow it to become something different than just gaming on your couch.
Do you guys ever experience like a flow state like as an effect of stream brain? Like let's say
like you get in the zone kind of thing?
Like you get like I've been streaming like Destiny PvP before. And like I'm you know, I would say in Destiny PvP I am, you know, slightly above average, but definitely not good. Definitely not high tier. You know,
if you're average
I'm
or lower,
usually I'm usually, you know, near the top of the list, you know, when I'm playing casually. But yeah, and very, very rarely at the bottom unless it's been a long time since I played or something. Like right now, if I jumped in, I'd be at the bottom of the list, certainly. But after a few warm-up games, I've been getting in the middle. But there's those moments, right, where you're like live and you fucking hit that stride and then you just start crushing like game after game after game. And that is a fucking awesome feeling.
Oh, it's such a high.
Like that's it's a high, it's like a flow state. Like you get like super, you know, keyed in with chat, you know, like it's kind of an amazing thing.
To me, it's like not all so for the same risk factor and wanting all the most entertaining things to happen in your game and with you can make bad things happen because you're going all out. It also can have massive rewards where you're like, you know what? I'm going hard. I know what I'm doing. Like I'm doing this. The chat's with me. Everyone's with me. Like I'm just going to go for it. And you do things you've never seen before. Like I can't tell you how many times I've
Did you see that?
You see that moments where you're like, I have never done that before. How the like that only happens when I'm streaming. That literally only happens when I'm streaming. Just because you're going as hard as possible and you're like, what? I didn't know I was capable of this.
Paul, and that holds true whether like I'm playing for myself, but also like more specifically when we were playing Destiny and we would do the Crucible matches with you and me and Merc and Chamali and Adam and Candace and whoever, like our crew. All of us working together, playing off each other, the chat playing off all of us because they know us or have seen all of our shows. I can't count the number of times we all just kind of got into the groove. And we're cruising.
It's amazing. You're just like, oh my God, we're just destroying right now. And like being in a co-op scenario. And like you were saying earlier, just having friends, like even when me and Colin are just like streaming Ocarina of Time or Banjo-Kazooie, it doesn't feel like it takes like 4 or 5 hours, whatever. It like just feels like you're just on and you're like, did you do this? You did this? Okay, we're on it. We're both going at the same time, perfectly in sync. Everyone's rocking it. That flow state, that is the word, isn't it?
It is, And
so
that's the high. That is the high of streaming is when you hit that zone. It doesn't happen every single stream, and that's another hang up for a lot of people starting up. It takes you 20, 30 streams before you get to that zone.
Sitting there just fucking up and just hating your gameplay, and you're just like, ugh, no one's watching, and I'm not even doing that good, and it's like whatever. At a certain point, like it doesn't matter who's watching. That's a big thing about streaming is you're like, sure, it's great to have 100 views or whatever. Like that's the goal, right? We want to make it, right? And we want to entertain and make ourselves popular in some way to be viable for entertainment for people. Right. At the same time, it's not about that. It's about like you doing what you do. And if you're not going to do that, then why would anyone fucking watch you? Like literally, like why would they want to watch you if you're not gonna like just do what you do? So like that's what's so difficult about streaming is you got to be on talking all of this, like all of it, even when there's 0 people in the chat. Like
rule number one,
like I streamed 6 months to 0 people in the chat, and look at me now or whatever.
Rule number one is it has to be entertaining to you first.
Yes, that's really the main goal. I feel like that's like because people will watch anything. So many people are watching like no offense, Mindari, but they're watching
Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Fucking Nancy Drew, dude.
Maybe it's great. Maybe there's a massive niche
Okay,
audience.
Dead by Daylight. How about that one?
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah. Like, a game that you're like, I like this, but like, does anyone else? It's like it doesn't matter. Like, you like it, people will watch. They
That's
want
the thing. Yeah.
They watch you.
RPD's firing back at you, Paul.
Is he?
Cyphus too.
Cyphus firing back.
Dude, Cyphus, long time no see, man.
Cyphus, what's up?
What's up?
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, here's the thing. Like exactly what you said. If it's a game you're not enjoying, then don't fucking stream it because that's the first thing that people can see. When you jump into a game and you're not enjoying it, it doesn't matter how popular that game is. Like when Fortnite was at its peak, people, kept telling me, oh, you should stream Fortnite. You should stream Fortnite. It'll help your channel grow, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck, no. I don't enjoy that game. You're going to see that come through on my face as I'm playing.
I'm just going to get angry and be sad about it. It's like, like I'm going to stream dumb game. I'm going to stream NHL 94. Because I freaking love that game.
Awesome.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 98. Come on.
Right? Like, I would stream that because I love hockey.
Yeah. Screw it.
Nobody's going to search for that game.
Yeah.
But that one random person who might is out there.
Yeah, and if they see you like enjoying a game and having a good time, they're going to be more apt to stick around and hang out. Is really all it boils down to.
People will like watching you no matter, like your Discord people and your regulars and all that. They're going to come to watch you. You're going to find different demographics in every game you play. Like when I played Hollow Knight, I never heard of it really, aside from little here and there. And I was like, I don't know if this game has a following. Literally, people that are obsessed with it, speedrunners, like world record holders, people that just like guiding people, they all come out. And you go to a different game and you're like, they all come out. Like people, there's a following for everything. And they only want to see you like trying your best and just doing it. It is like a job in that regard. You're like, you can't just half-ass it. You can't just be like, ugh. There's been times raging is just like, that's another subject. We should put that maybe on a subject, or it could be a mini subject. But I feel like it's an effect of streamer brain is raging. And I can't tell you how many times where I've been so embarrassed because I'm like, fuck, like I'm actually pissed. Like, this is actually fucking annoying right now. I am no longer happy. And you're saying that in front of people live. And I'm like, why would I do that? That's like so unprofessional. You would never do that at your job and be like, hey, customer, I'm fucking pissed. I don't want to serve you. Screw you. It's like you're literally like, you're giving people this entertainment and like to rage and like allow the streamer brain to like tax you negative. To take over. It's like, fuck, like remember why you're doing it. Like, if you turn on that game and you're just like, ugh, here we go. I got to beat this level. Ugh. It's like no one wants to fucking see you groan and bitch. Like, and if you don't want to be seen doing that, then do it off stream and then come back or do whatever. But it really, they can see, like, I know I look at myself in the camera when I'm pissed and I'm like, okay, fuck. Like I look like I'm not having fun and I haven't talked in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a distinct difference between not talking because you're focused and not talking because you're angry. And it is admittedly, it's hard to determine. It's hard to discern.
Oh, yeah. And especially when you're doing the same thing over and over again, over and over and over and over, you're like, I already talked about everything I can about this. Now I'm just talking about how I'm fucking up. Now I'm just like, oh, I didn't do it again. Okay, I still didn't do it. Okay, I still didn't do it. And it becomes like, what do you talk about? But like, you still just got to figure it out. It's like everyone's got their own stream of consciousness. And it's like, that's something I truly struggle with. With like very difficult games like Blue Fire, where I'm just like, there was that one mini game where I was like, okay, I just like am fucking up. It's really hard for me. I just kept talking about how beautiful the game was and how difficult it was. But I'm like, at a certain point, it becomes like, hold yourself back from just being like, fuck, like, damn, this is hard. Like, I have nothing else to say.
Conquer.
Oh my God, Conquer. Dude. How bad the voice acting is in that game.
If it hadn't been for myself and RPD and 4Gs and Adam, like coercing Paul to keep going with that game, or to
I almost rage quit that game.
We started trying to convince him to stop, and then he got so far into the game, we're like, okay, no, we need to get him through this game. And he was ready to stop, like, I don't know, 2 2 hours maybe before the end of the game.
There was just a certain point where like it was very unclear, even though I've beaten the game a bunch of times. Again, another example of streamer brain, right? So like I'm at a certain point at the game and there's just no clear path forward. And I'm just like ultra frustrated with like the game itself, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. And yeah, I almost rage quit the game, but eventually I figured it out, especially with the help of chat, like being funny and chill and supportive, and us making jokes about how it's the best game ever and how much
this is the greatest
Borges
game.
loves it. This game's
We're
amazing.
having all kinds of fun over here.
Yeah.
Oh God, where is it?
Yeah. So
yeah. But did you play the N64 version live?
No, I played the Xbox version.
And it's still that grueling, huh?
I mean, it's the same game. It's just
really
prettier.
hard.
Yeah.
The N64 version is so bad. It's one of the worst games ever. One of the worst games ever. Like that Nintendo made, at least.
I don't agree necessarily, but it certainly hasn't aged the best. But anywho, that's pretty much all we got on the streamer brain subject. That was a good one. That was a really good one. So that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. If you're watching this live right now, you're on my Twitch channel. I play video games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then on Saturdays, we do Samurai Saturdays. So I play a samurai video game. And lately, I've been doing the Onimusha games. It's been a lot of fun. I found like a new love for Onimusha 3, which I feel like I never gave enough of a chance back then.
So rad.
So I'm having a ton of fun with that game. So you can check those out. And you can find me on Twitter at Ryugami-sama if you want to yell at me. If you're watching this on YouTube, please, if you enjoy it, just share the content, and we'd be very happy about that. So, yes. There's our Discord if you want to join the Discord, and you can chat with us there. What was that?
We're saving the news.
Well, I mean, we can throw it out there. What news do we have other than the Star Wars thing? Did we have any?
I can't even have any.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing that we talked about mentioning was that Ubisoft and Massive are making a Star Wars game, which marks the end of the EA Star Wars games monopoly.
Ubisoft, like, let's be real,
happy about that.
They have great. Ubisoft has really good world building skills, so I'm like really excited.
Especially like they're the pros for when it comes to open world games.
They are the pros. Yeah.
But there's the socials in chat as well, guys. Josh, let us know where we can find you.
You can actually find me at Lord Yeshua on Twitch now that I am streaming again.
Thanks to Blue Fire. I feel like we revived your streaming career.
Put the blue fire under my ass, and I am back. And Lord Yeshua TTV on all of my socials. Yeah, that stuff.
And you can find me on Twitch at Another Letdown. I'm live Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, but I'm also live tomorrow because I got to record some footage for my review next week. So I don't know what time I'll be live, but like mid-afternoon, probably Eastern time.
Awesome.
Nice. Excellent.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's give Mendari the viewers. And,
Fuck it. We're not even gonna ask who's live.
And call it a day. Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone else you guys think we should raid, I'm happy to. If you guys have any suggestions. Otherwise, stick around and we'll be raiding Mendari if I can spell her damn name. There we go. Yeah, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. This was fun. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night. Beep, boop, beep. Raid now. All right.